Every writer thinks they know what structure is. A 3-act shape, a hero on a diagram, a map you follow to the end. And yet scripts that obey every rule still fail, stalling, collapsing, or simply going dead on the page. Welcome to the investigation anatomy of story, my search for the hidden patterns beneath all stories. In this first case file, I'll examine where our modern ideas of structure came from and ask why so many writers are solving the wrong problem. We stop treating structure like gospel and start treating it like evidence, because if you want to write something that breathes, you've got to know what story is made of, not just what some guru says it should be. So what is structure, really? A formula imposed from the outside, or a force already at work beneath the story? And if structure were that simple, why are so many scripts in town dying on page 30? Structure isn't a formula, it's a crime scene, a set of clues scattered across centuries. Greeks carving theories in stone, Germans charting arcs, Hollywood tightening the screws, rebels breaking the rules and calling it innovation. Every paradigm swears it's the truth. Every one of them is only telling part of the story, because every writer met the same killer, a story that dies halfway through. You thought it was bulletproof, but somewhere between page 30 and 40 it bled out. No warning signs, no smoking gun, just a cold case in your hands and a stack of blank pages. They call it writer's block, but it's not the words that die, it's the bones underneath. The scaffolding collapses and suddenly your characters are standing in rubble, looking at you for answers you don't have. That's bad structure. And no, structure isn't chains. It's not some Hollywood straitjacket forcing your creativity into a box. It's the bones under the skin, the invisible architecture that lets a story stand, breathe and move through the darkness without stumbling. Without it, all you've got is dialogue and wishful thinking, pretty sentences floating in the void, the thing that everyone thinks they have until it collapses under the weight of the second act. Some say it's formula. Others say it's freedom. The truth is, structure sits somewhere between instinct and intuition, between chaos and control. It's a rhythm, it's a change in motion. Something happens, the world shifts, the character bends or breaks against that pressure. The story isn't about what happens, it's about what changes. The transformation is the case we're trying to solve, not the superficial facts of the plot. The real mystery isn't who done it, it's who became what and why should we care. 2000 years ago, Aristotle charted the first pattern, beginning, middle, end. Simple, relentless, still haunting every writer's room in Hollywood. He wasn't preaching, he was dissecting, performing an autopsy on what makes stories breathe. Centuries later, Freytag turned it into geometry. A climb, a peak, a fall. Not to cage stories. They weren't selling seminars or 3-act screenwriting software. They were trying to prove stories had a pulse, a measurable heartbeat underneath all the poetry. Then came film. And suddenly, the industry didn't want poetry, it wanted blueprints, assembly lines, repeatable outcomes. Field drew his 3 acts and planted his plot points like clockwork. Campbell mapped the hero's journey through mythic underworlds. Harmon boiled it down to 8 beats, a perfect circle of departure and return. McKee charted emotional territories. Each one swore they'd solved the case, cracked the code, found the universal skeleton key to narrative. But every time a new model promised perfection, another story broke it, shattered the mould, then rebuilt it in the shape the textbooks said was impossible. That's the thing about paradigms. They work until they don't. They explain everything until they explain nothing. They're the maps, not the territory. And yes, some of these maps get you home, but others leave you wandering in circles, chasing your own tail through 3 acts of beautifully structured emptiness. But structure isn't religion. It's not dogma to be followed blindly. It's rhythm. It's the heartbeat under the dialogue, the invisible current pulling your audience through the dark. It's a tool. Learn it, master it, then bend it until it sings your particular melody, until it carries your specific weight. Don't confuse the diagram for the living thing. That's what this investigation is. Each episode will pull one paradigm off the dusty shelf, Aristotle, Campbell, Field, Snyder, Harman and the rest, and put it under the light. We'll look at who built it, why it worked, and where it breaks under pressure, not to worship the system, but to see what still holds when the story starts fighting back. Because every structure, every so-called formula is chasing the same pulse. The moment a character faces the impossible and either transforms or doesn't survive it. So the job, the investigation, is simple. Find the truth that hides between the lines, the part the textbooks forget to mention while they're selling you certainty. The shadows where real stories live. When we're done, you'll know which structure can carry a story across the finish line and which ones just look good in theory but collapse when the real weight of storytelling hits them. And every investigation starts clean. A question, a body on the floor. But questions don't stay innocent for long. Once story left the campfire, it hit the factory floor. Hollywood didn't ask what stories are. It asked how fast can they be made, sold and repeated. And that's where the trouble started. To understand why structure stopped being a tool and became a trap, we have to step inside the machine that mass-produced it. And if you want the case files in your hands, there's a downloadable PDF waiting below. It's your written brief for everything we've covered here and how to use it on the page. Details are in the description. I'm Terry Dre, and this is the Investigation Anatomy of Story. The first case file is closed. Till the next one opens, be seeing you.